Hello. Today I'm not going to use these pens to do a drawing. These are my usual pens I use if I want to start a drawing. But today, sorry, no, I'm going to go over here and look into this old cabinet that I've had for years and years. It's an old IKEA cabinet with cardboard drawers. And in here is like my art supply area, but it's a bit of a mess, really. It's all just jumbled up stuff. Things that I've bought and never even opened. Some things are really old that I don't use anymore. So if you like looking through people's drawers, maybe you'll like this video. If you like art supplies, maybe you'll like this video. But it's just something that I need to do. I need to sort through these, see what I've got in here, and just inspire myself to pick up some art supplies and get drawing. So it starts off here with a box of 12 ultrafine Sharpies. I like these. Sometimes I just make notes with these. They just write nicely, and the tip is, because it's the ultrafine ones, easier to do art with than the normal Sharpies, which are a bit thick. Box of 12 is quite a cheap way of buying them too. Paint in a pen. So okay, never use this obviously, it's still in a packet. Looks like you can draw on rocks or wood. Ultra fine 0.7. I think it's black. I intended it to be black when I bought it, but okay, looks like you have to shake it to get the ink going. So yeah, maybe I'll collect some rocks, give that a go. Here's some Sakura Pigma Microns. These are just really popular. A lot of artists use these for all different types of drawings. This set has quite a narrow range, I suppose. 0.2, 0.25, 0.3, 0.35, 0.45 and 0.5. I think it's still sealed. I don't think I've even opened these ones, probably because I've still got those other ones. Still got lots of these on the go, but maybe I'm never going to use the really fine one. Maybe that's not the best way to buy them in these sets. Cheaper per pen, but if you never use the extreme ones. These are from like a Japanese shop. I was in Japan recently, Japan and Taiwan. And these are like a 100 yen shop, which is a bit like a pound shop or a dollar store. So what's this? Illustration marker and a clear blender. Okay, they just look, they were cheap enough to try. Well, that's how those dollar shops work, isn't it? You go in and you end up buying stuff you never even intended to. But they look, all right quality, worth trying, I thought. And this one's got the blender, so you can kind of smudge the lines of the black pen. So here is another one. Did I buy two the same? What's the difference here? This one has the blender, so this one is just two, I think it's just two colours, isn't it? Two dark grey colours. So I can add shading to my drawings if I dare. Don't normally, but I'm going to put these to give that a try. Yeah, because in there that's just black, completely black, and the blender, and the other one's got two different greys. Okay, so what's this one then? More greys. So with the blender and all these, I've got 4 different greys there. I could do a real range of tonal values maybe. Okay, definitely give those a go. This is something else from the 100 yen shop. This is like a spinning, you put batteries in it and it spins the eraser around on the end. I thought that would be quite fun to try. You could actually maybe draw on it if you fill the page with pencil lines. You could actually maybe draw with this to clean it back off, like negative drawing. Gioconda. So this is these are massive leads. You know, like leads for a propelling pencil, but really, really thick. I think they're two. Yeah, this is the pen. This is the pen that holds those leads. Then it's from that company Koh-i-noor, which I always thought was Japanese, perhaps, but I think it's like Austrian, or was originally Austrian, and then it's now a Czech company. But this just see there's a big claws there which hold the lead. Doesn't click like a mechanical pencil. You just let the lead drop down a bit if you use it. But it just looked. Yeah, see, it says there on the. It's got the company name on the lead. Hardmuth. I think that was the name of the founder of the company. Really old company, like a lot of pen companies are. They're really old. So yeah, that'd be fun. Big chunky pen, massive chunky lead. Maybe a bit uncomfortable to hold because it's so chunky, but yeah, it just looked interesting, looked cool. So I bought the leads, and that was years ago, I think, when I bought that. This is just some pencils. I think this was a gift. Just looks nice in the box there. Different types, probably just HB ones. So this is more like a pencil box of pencils in here. See things like this, not so interesting. Seem to have a lot of just free propelling pencils, nothing too fancy. Oh, this one I remember. I've had this for years and years. I think my dad got it free from a company. Well, I've kind of used it a bit. See the tiny eraser that you get on these things, the emergency eraser, doesn't last very long, but looks like I've used it. The little logo, the shell logo there is rubbed off. I think it's a 0.5. Nice clicky action. Nice and light. Yeah, it's just a bit of a blast from the past there. I've definitely done loads of stuff with that. These ones are Tiki by Rotring. Big company for pens. Originally, like, it was a German company. It means red ring, Rotring. So what do we get here? A 0.1, a 0.3 and a 0.5. Never really seen these before, but I guess they're equivalent to a Pigma Micron. Yeah, it says black pigmented ink. Yeah, water resistant, etc. So that, yeah. So it's got a window, I guess, is up there. Ink window. So you can see what's going on, how much ink you've got there. Yeah, so they are kind of a rival, I'm sure, to the Pigma Microns. Was that a compass or a protractor? I think that's, yeah, protractor, I think that's called. Full circle one, not just a half circle. This, I remember buying this. It was just a fun thing. Probably never used it. There was kind of one. How'd you get into it? I quite like stamps. I got a few stamps. I got sets with whole alphabets on. And you can make up your own letters. But this one just, you can turn the dial here, I think. It's got a few funny phrases. Yeah, you turn this, I think, and then... Yeah, okay, what has it got? What's the different property of? Like, thumbs up, coffee break, let's discuss. FYI, for your information, isn't it? Deal with it. Epic fail. That was the one I liked. And a rubber stamped. Something you could be rubber stamped. Does it work? Does it need a... Is it self-inking? Or do I need an ink pad? Well, let's give it a go, shall we? Piece of paper, maybe over here. Yeah, here's the little thing that you get in the back of a moleskin notebook. If I press down on here. Ooh, that's a bit... Oh, it's definitely self-inking then. That is an epic fail. That's way too much ink. Let's do it. Just don't press down so much, maybe. But yeah, imagine having that on your school essay. It came back with epic fail written on it. Brutal. So, well, it still works, but not sure if I'll ever really use it for anything. More just a fun thing, really. It's just ended up in the box of art supplies. Brushes, yeah, I used to have inks and like India ink, and would sometimes draw, or is it paint? But I mean, just look at this range. It's a bit, it's difficult to make sense of this. What is there? There's mop, there's sword, there's liner, there's flat shader, there's filbert, flat, bright, round. There's this is quite daunting, really. Script / rigger, angle, shader, flat wash, oval wash, fan, sky flow, and there's more. I was a bit bamboozled. I think I bought these recently just to. I've got some brushes, but they're all a bit bent from being stuck in this drawer. An old watch. Oh no, I bought this. I had a nice watch and I lost it. Oh, and I was so annoyed. And I thought, well, I don't need an expensive watch. I'm just going to buy the cheapest watch. I bought this in an airport, and I was like, I'm just going to buy the cheapest watch there is. Which this thing is tiny face, and it was it didn't replace the nice watch. It did for a little while, but I kind of got bored of it pretty quickly. The Velcro strap was a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, I do remember buying it because I lost my nice watch. Sharpeners. Always a million different designs of these things in stationery stores. It always smells the same, doesn't it? It always smells of wood shavings or something. These are the ones I had like at school. Kind of the classic design. Was it just aluminium and the blade screwed in there? Precision. Because I would fiddle around and take the blades off, and and some of these, on the bigger ones, that you would get a spare blade. So either that is the spare blade, or I've taken it off to carve my school desk or something. This one, this is from a Japanese shop a long time ago. So it's crazy design. Just don't really see them like this. Here, see, it's a lead adjuster. The idea was you turn the dial to choose how you want to have your pencil sharpened. I think it moves the blade back and forth inside. Yeah, see, depends how. No, it's quite good for a thin pen or a really thick pencil. A little door there, and then there's the compartment for the shavings. Very Japanese, quite cool. Sharpie, these are the chunky ones, aren't they? The chisel tip, not so useful really for drawing because they're so broad. Oh, well, the inside of the lid has come off with the pen. Maybe because I've not opened that one for ages. Did buy a load of these Sharpie chisel tip colours for some reason. Not quite sure why now. Yeah, see, that's not so useful for drawing. Not fine drawing anyway. You can easily colour some areas quickly. This is a it seemed like a good idea. It's supposed to be super ergonomical pencil to hold. It's a Stabilo one. Not sure if that ever went on the end properly, but it kind of forced, maybe people hold their pens different ways, and it just made you hold the pen one certain way, which wasn't the way I hold pens, so I never really got on with that one. This is one of those clicky change the colours thing. These things never work, do they? There's always one colour that doesn't write, or I think, is this even working? See, that green one is all jammed up. I'm not sure if I'll keep this one. This is nice. See, a nice brush on the end instead of an eraser, because this end is an eraser. So it's like a pencil that you can sharpen that has an eraser in it. See, Mars Razor by Staedtler. See, that'd be nice. Again, you could fill a whole piece of paper with pencil and then draw with this to make the paper clean, and then use a little brush on the end to clean all the bits off. Just seemed a nice thing in a stationery store many years ago. What else can I find? Another Sharpie, bronze. Yeah, there's some fancy colours in Sharpies. See, that's like a metallic one. I think I've got a few of those. I've got like a bronze and a silver and a gold. Staedtler Lumicolor. Got loads of these, but I think almost all of them have dried out. They just don't seem to last many years in storage. Maybe okay if you keep using them, but my dad had a lot of these ones for his work. Maybe I kept pinching them or borrowing them, putting them back, confusing him. What is that one there? That's nice and thin, and that's a tiny pencil. Oh no, it's a pen, isn't it? It's a ballpoint pen. Just nice. You could keep that with a notebook. Oh, it's not staying clicked. It's a Pentel. See, it's tiny. I'll see if I can fix it. Here is, I do remember finding this. Just walking down a gravel path, I think it was, and that was in the road. And I was just amused because it's like a fork in the road. So I kept it rather randomly. A YouTube pen, but it's just a biro. What else is here? See, yeah, too many of these. I bet all of these have stopped working. So I'll probably bail out some of those, make some space. Anything else interesting in here? Ooh. What are these? Staedtler. It's a great company. I've got a lot of Staedtler stuff. Mars Carbon. I think these are leads, but they're thick. So that's not your standard lead of like, say 0.5 is the kind of normal. See, look at these things, they're thick. So maybe I've got a pencil that holds these, or a mechanical pencil that holds them. Yeah, see, 2.0 millimeters. Two different tubes. What is one of them? One's HB, and one's H, or even harder. Okay. Hopefully there's something in here that matches those. Yeah, this is the normal kind of packet that you get for mechanical pencils. Just 0.5. They've got fiddly tops like this. I can never work out how you're supposed to use them. Anything else good? Oh, there's another really old one. Yeah, I think again it's just a 0.5. For some reason I've taped the end on. Not sure why. Some message to my future self today to say don't take the end off, all the leads fall out. But I thought it was unusual, it's got a side button. Oh, it still works, and it's got lead inside. Yeah, you got a button on the side instead of pressing the top. But otherwise it's just a pretty standard cheapy kind of plastic one. Anything else under here? Oh yeah, this is nice. I was, yeah, this is bad because I was going to finish this and I never have. It's just a nice notebook. There's nothing in it yet. But I was going to draw something for my wife. Just fill every page with something, a little drawing. Give it to her as a gift. I really must finish that. That'll be a nice project to do. Yeah, I'll try and do a video of it, show you how I'm getting on. This is a dormy. It's like a stamp set. It's just a whole alphabet, rows and rows of little tiny individual rubber stamps. I think there was like a holder. You set them in a holder to make your own letters and words. So I think I'm finished with that one. I mean, it's not really sorted out, but I kind of know the state of that drawer. A bit clearer of what's going on there. Drawer 2 has always just been sticky stuff and sellotape and glue and things like that, so not so interesting. Drawer 3, bit of all sorts in here. Let's have a good rummage in here. This I bought for an anniversary gift for my wife. Each year I make something based out of what it's supposed to be for that anniversary. So this was this year was leather when I had this. So I've only used it once, but it was a nice set, well made. So what you do, you choose your letter, line it up with the holder here that stays in place with a little pen, and then you hold that against your leather and you hit the end here with a hammer. Hold that there, push that against the leather, give that a few whacks, and it stamps on, embosses the letters quite deeply if you hit it hard enough into the leather. I think I added some ink, so the ink went into the letters, sunk into the holes. It's a nice thing to have. It's a well-made set. Ivan. This is just another cheap pencil case from the supermarket. Quite like these. Keep buying them to try and sort out this mess. Now this. Ooh, this is scary. It's a bit daunting. Very technical looking. Very professional. It's a Stedler Marsmatic set. It comes in a nice box with little fuzzy felt feet. See, even got a fancy lid. Okay, so there's a 0.25 and a 0.35. There's some bits here. Is that to help you fill the pen? Because it's you have to fill them up yourself with ink, like this. Don't know if it can take other ink, or I have to keep buying this ink. Still in there because I've never used these at all. I saw it at a really good price in a shop, and I kind of knew that, oh, they're expensive pens, these technical pens. And I just sort of went for it because I knew it was really cheap. So that's the 0.5 ISO. I think that just means like it's like an industry standard that you know that is 0.5. See, it's so fine, isn't it? So that would be easy to bend that. Really thin tube that the ink comes down. It's like a needle. Looks like a medical instrument. So somehow either this end here or the other end opens up and you put the ink inside. Look, you can put 3 of the pens, even though there's 4 of them. You can put 3 on display on your desk like that. For when you're drawing your skyscraper or your bridge or other like important real things, not just some doodles like I'm going to do. But no, I have seen some great art done with these ones, especially the Rotring ones. They seem a bit more popular, but I think they're virtually the same. The Rotring isograph pens. How do I get underneath there? Does that come out? So even the box is complicated, never mind the pens. Does that lift up? Don't know how you Is that the tool to unbolt the pens to get the ink in? Yeah, see under there you can see some writing. There's some instructions underneath this top layer. Well, maybe I'll have to get tough with the box and wrestle that off somehow, work out how that opens properly to get underneath, or watch some YouTube videos of how to fill these pens and get them going. Yeah, it'd be good to get comfortable with them and be less scared of them. Frisk drawing ink, big bottle, 150 milliliters. This was bought from Hobbycraft, which is like a big store, like a Toys R Us of art supplies in the UK. Not quite sure what kind of ink it is, if it's just for dip pens. I'm not sure if I could put this into those pens I just had, the isographs, probably not. Or could I put this in a fountain pen? I don't know, it might clog it up. But I could certainly use brushes, and I could certainly use dip pens with that. At the same time, I bought this Artist's Blue Mask. I've seen some interesting videos on YouTube. You can basically splash this or paint, or even probably with a dip pen you could draw on paper first with this stuff, and it dries and goes kind of rubbery, and then you can paint on top of that with a some black or something like that, and then afterwards you would peel off these dry bits of rubber, and then of course it would be then white because it's showing the paper underneath, which this stopped the ink getting to. So yeah, maybe some interesting ideas to be had there. This now is a Pentel pocket brush. I've heard good things about these. Yeah, it's like a real brush on the end of a normal pen with cartridges. It says you can do really fine lines, which you'd think that would be surprising with a brush end, but you can do, yeah, create fine to broad lines with a single stroke. Yeah, they're supposed to be quite good. I think you are stuck using those cartridges though. I don't think you can fill them up with ink yourself. Oh, here's another Dormy ink pad set thing. You had little tweezers somewhere, and you picked out the letters and loaded them into a tray, and then you could stamp what you wanted with them. This is Indian ink. I used to buy the very same one. This is quite new, but they haven't changed the box. Always had that spider on it. Oh, see that label? That's not even stuck on straight. Oh, if I'd noticed that in the shop, I'd have changed it for one that was just perfectly stuck on. See, that's ever so slightly annoying. But yeah, it's good ink. It's quite thick, I think. And I think you definitely couldn't put this into a fountain pen. But yeah, brushes and dip pens, which I've got a few of. Maybe they're in this drawer. What else can we find? What is this one? This is an Staedtler again. Got lots of Staedtler things, it would seem. Ooh, shiny. It's an erasing shield, it said. I think it's yeah, you could do some interesting things by having lots of graphite on the paper and then carefully rub away very specific things, because a rubber normally isn't very very fine tool to use. It rubs off quite big areas, but you could really control with that what you're rubbing off exactly. Yeah, could be good to use. I think it's a keeper, but I'm not sure how much use I'll get out of it. So there's a rotoring box for like a technical pen, but that's empty. I think I've still got that. Well, I'm not sure if I've ever used it. What else? I use that for putting water in it. Just a little water reservoir for brushes. Just a big broad brush. I think I used it more like for cleaning up bits of eraser rather than, I've never used it for ink or paint. Just a soft brush. Some old paint brushes. Oh, that's the tweezers for the dormy stamp set things. Bit fiddly, really. And it kind of looks a bit rubbish, when you're doing the stamps, but I kind of didn't mind that look of the letters looking a bit wonky. This is an old compass. It's quite a posh one. I had this at school, but it's quite a nice one. Instead of the old ones that just has like a real pencil kind of clamped in, this one has lead. It's gone a bit green. It's eroding on the end there. I've had it a long time. But yeah, nice precision tool. I'm not sure why I've got such a good one. Oh, that's one of the stamp things. See, I've loaded in happy birthday. I think I was doing like a birthday card. See, it's not going to look great, but I kind of like that slightly wonky look. What's the difference? I think they're just different type faces, different sizes of letters. This I've had a long time. Daylight simulation bulb. Not sure if these are. Oh, this filament looks good. I think it would still work. But I think it's like you'd only need this if you were doing like accurate color work. It's supposed to be, less eye strain and stuff like that. I think nowadays you get really accurately controlled blue colors. I think this is just a bit of blue glass. I don't think it's anything too. See, it doesn't tell you the color temperature on the box of what the blue is. I think I did use it a little bit, because you're supposed to, but realised it probably didn't make much difference. That is a bought in Japan stencil set. Pretty fine letters by the looks of things. 4 rows of. So you would probably need the technical pen just to get in there. Again, I think using these it would look a bit rubbish because it would look like a stencil, but it might be quite a nice effect in an art picture to have it done like that. That was the idea, of course. I never did anything about it, so maybe one day soon. Now I'm trying to get back into the drawing. I'll do all these things. That's the idea. This is another old school one. That's why the plastic's all scratched and stuff. This has been rattling around in a school bag for years. It was quite useful for doing circles. If you didn't want to get the protractor out, you just used that. That's just a nice, tidy ruler from the Japanese stationery shops. I mean, they're huge, these shops, and they've got all sorts of everything. You just go around going, well, that's just a perfect little ruler. So there's a bigger one. So it's just nice. It's really clear, and it's got all the lines, parallel lines going along it, not just on the tip. It's just well-made stuff. What else? Some CDs. Oh, these. Yeah, they were a bit rubbish, aren't they? They were like these Fresnel, I don't know how you say it, those lenses which are flat. But they're like little rows of little prisms. They kind of do magnify a little bit, but they also distort a lot. These CDs, I bought these magazines, Imagine FX, but it was a bit daunting really. Amazing art, and you realise you're not kind of on that level. I didn't really do much digital stuff, so didn't really do much about those. What's under here? Just plastic layers, envelopes. This is another really old school thing. I wasn't very good at spelling, so I got this, or I was given this, kind of like a calculator for letters. It's in pretty good condition. There's no leaky batteries in there. It actually had some games on it, like Hangman, so it was quite a sneaky way to play games in class before mobile phones and all that. Pocket Spellmaster. Anything else in this drawer? Graphite pencil. Yeah, I think we're done with that drawer. Let's put that back here into this slot. see what else we can find. This could be a bit more interesting. This should be more like ink pens. Yeah, this could be more real art supplies. See now, what's this? This is, I think this was like a set, and it had 3 different types of nibs: Saji, G, and Maru. Saji one is the only one that's in there, and I think Maru is the really thin one, and the G's. Oh, there's 3 different types. I did research all that stuff. So yeah, at school, in art classes at school, and maybe a little bit after that, I was using dip pens. Kind of before I researched all this, how the Japanese pens and how their comic artists do things a bit differently. So this was one of the ones I used at school. Probably, it's not a wooden holder; it's just like a plastic holder. And you could change the nibs because they kind of wear out, or you wanted to change to a finer nib. See, that's different to these Japanese ones, but would that fit in there? Is it the same? The Japanese nib, the Saji nib, which is quite fine. You could do quite fine detail with that one. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks super sharp. Fits in anyway. What else is in here? These were good. These were Rotring art pens. Had 2. I think I started with the fine, the F, and then I got the EF, the extra fine. Not a big difference between them, but enough that I got the extra fine. Ooh, they're in a bit of a mess. They're quite sludged up. Old ink is in there. I'll have to leave these soaking in some hot soapy water or something like that. I have to research how to clean out old fountain pens without damaging them. I think these had cartridges in, if I remember. Yeah, there's one. Oh, looks a bit dried out, and yeah, but they were good. The back of the pen was really long. It was nice to hold them, and it just had a good weight and feel. I mean, it's all plastic, but it was yeah, there's another dried out cartridge. Ooh, a bit of old dry ink there. So these should be alright. If they're sealed, these cartridges, they should still be okay. Maybe I can use this with it to drink. This one, if I remember, was in a school pen, but it was awful. It had like a rubber, like a squeezy ink drinker. You kind of squeezed it and pumped that rubber balloon, and it wasn't very good. Made a big mess often. Struggled with that one for a while, and then I got this type, which was the twisty type. They're much better. Again, that's pretty messed up. That also needs a good clean. But they were way better. You just twist them and suck up a whole cartridge worth of ink in one go. Yeah, they're much better. Yeah, all needs a good clean. Now, what is... Oh, there's another nib. That's the G nib. Yeah, that's kind of it. The line variation isn't that much with them, but you can do big bold lines, not so much the fine lines, but big bold kind of action lines. So I've just got one left to find, the Maru one. This was I'm sure this was it's a fountain pen, but I'm sure this was like my school pen. It's got a nice weight to it, quite metal. It's just plastic around here though. I don't think it's anything fancy. I think it's a Parker pen, but well, that says M. There's an M logo on there. I don't know if that means medium, or is there a pen company which uses the M logo. I don't think it's a Mont Blanc anyway. But oh, that's still got the twisty Inca drinker. The one that looks a lot cleaner, that one. But maybe I could draw with this fountain pen. I wonder if the twisty Inca drinker would fit inside the rotating art pens. Should definitely try that. Then I could use some fancy ink, the specialist drawing ink maybe. Okay, this is just a big fat permanent marker. Don't know why I've got this as brown. Why would I want a really thick brown permanent marker? Not really sure why. It doesn't look too dried out, that one. Yeah, it's just like a big... hasn't got the chisel tip, at least. Okay, oh, here's some more. It's a whole set of... which ones are those? Is that the G? Yeah, G pen tips or nibs. Yeah, Delita is a company that does those Japanese dip pens. I think I've got several of those sets. Yeah, because here's the other two types. Yeah, these thin ones for doing really fine detail. That's the Maru ones. So they're so much thinner, smaller than the other two. But yeah, you kind of have to know. People have their favourite ones. People rave about the G-nibs or rave about the Maru ones. Oh, maybe that's the... is that the missing one from this set? This cardboard thing, I think it came... I had a dip pen that all these would fit. It was like a starter set, basically. Here's the 3 types of Japanese comic dip pens that are popularly used, and you got to try each one out, and there was a dip pen as well. I just kept this little thing just so I knew the difference. That one, don't know what that is. That looks different again. More cartridges, a whole stack of those. I'm not sure if they're black or blue. There's a bit of a mixture. There's a red one in there. Some old yucky sticky tape. Now that is, I think, for some kind of technical pen. But I don't think it's for these. Not sure what that's gonna... Yeah, because those you fill with the ink, so this is for something else. But I'm sure it was some kind of very technical kind of pen. See if I can find that. And this was a nice thing, not really a pen as such, it was just that end's got like a ball on the end. It was just for rubbing or for creasing paper when you want to have a nice folding card that you're making, or for rubbing transfers, just various tools. Just seemed like a useful thing. Again, it was from one of the amazing Japanese stationery shops. A Copic Chow, or Kiao Chow. These are very popular. You always get 2 ends on them, so you have like a brush tip on one end and a chisel tip on the other one. There's a nice tin. It's eroding a bit slightly, but I think that's what the art pens came in, the rotating art pens. And in this tin, okay, it's like a pencil set. What have we got in here? Oh, charcoal pencil. That's something a bit different, because charcoal is quite messy to use. Old art teacher at school used to get us to use charcoal, because you could be a lot more, you could do something very, very quickly and a bit more expressively than very slow detail stuff with a pencil. That's just a black crayon in there. That's maybe shouldn't really be in there. So that does an imposter. That doesn't belong in there. That's the other pencil. And then, oh, in the end here is an eraser, but it's one of the putty ones. They're kind of bendy, they're quite sticky. They almost lift the pencil or the charcoal off the paper rather than rub it away. And you can kind of bend them and shape them and do different things with them. Kneaded eraser or putty eraser, same thing I think. Oh, this is some yeah, Quink ink. This is, I'm sure this was just my school pen ink. Yeah, this is probably quite old. Contains Solvex. I'm not even sure if they still put Solvex in. It was a bit of a mystery of what Solvex was. It's maybe something a little bit nasty because it's got a distinct chemical smell. That's another blast from the past, sniffing that bottle of ink. So I think is that black? See, there's a hint of blue there in the lid. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think it is black. Maybe it's just starting to separate a little bit. But that's probably thin enough to go into the cartridge pens. Maybe even the Rotring art pens would take that ink without getting sludged up. This is some kind of brush pen. A zebra brush pen. Looks like it's a proper brush end and you have to kind of squeeze. FDM. Yeah, you have to maybe squeeze the ink out or squeeze to fill it up with ink. Because I'm not sure if it's a cartridge pen or, yeah, I think I have to put ink in this one. Again, I think it was, yeah, cheap enough to give it a try from a Japanese art shop. Might have been a Taiwanese art shop. Here's another stamp. I obviously quite like stamps and stamp sets. This one again, it was from Japan, but that could have made it unusual. See, it's still sealed up. Never had a look in here. But they're like, yeah, individual stamps on each stick. But you could do like a whole tree, and the leaves could be letters. You could just stamp away. You could shade with these maybe by repeatedly stamping letters into dark areas. Don't sure why it's got a paperclip stuck in it. But yeah, never been opened. But yeah, I did have some ideas for that one. Nice to be reminded of those ideas. I should crack on and do that one. A few more Copic markers. A few different types. These thicker ones, I think you can refill those. Neutral grey. Again, maybe I was going to do some shading on a drawing. This is one of my old dip pens, kind of before I researched the Japanese stuff. This is what I was using at school. Don't know why it's got a rubber ring on it. Maybe it can't swim. This is a bit scratchy if I remember. Sometimes it would dig into the paper and splash ink and stuff, but this is a little packet of danger. It's just some razor blades for cutting paper. What's this one? This is a Copic drawing pen, F01. But oh, it's got that kind of nib, like a the nib of a fountain pen. But just done it in a single-use, disposable kind of pen. Yeah, I can't open it. I don't think you can refill it or get cartridges. But yeah, maybe if you want a fountain pen for drawing, but you don't want the mess of cartridges and ink, it's quite a good idea. Now this is the Deleter pen holder that I bought when I bought these ones. So somehow this can use both kind of. Somehow it can hold both of these nibs, because one of these nibs is really small and one's bigger. Oh yes, because it's got two circles in the end. It's kind of like a rubbery end that grips the pen nib. What is this one here anyway? What is this? This is a Nico. It's got a number 4 on it. Not quite sure what that nib is. But anyway. yeah, it's quite nice to hold, and it matches these deleter nibs, so I need to get practicing with those. Here's some more Copic markers, numerous types and colours. Oh no, this is another technical pen, isn't it? This might be what this cartridge was for that we found earlier, this blue one. I think that's what fits in here. Yeah, there we go, because that's a black one that's in there now. Probably dried out. So I think, I'm not quite sure how I came around this one. Maybe this might have been my brother's. Maybe I, acquired it, borrowed it, never gave it back. Rotring, Germany. So 0.35. I've only got this one, I think. I haven't got a whole set of these. Maybe they're a bit easier because they take cartridges rather than filling with ink. But again, super scary thin needle of pen nib on the end. Looks tiny. I think you have to hold the pen quite upright when you use it for the ink to come out. I think that's a bit hard to use, but good results once you've learned how to use them, seems to be the opinion. What's in here? This is this more cartridges for that radiograph? Yeah, radiograph takes the cartridges, and I think isograph is the Rotring one that takes bottled ink. So I've got some blue and some red. This is this might be quite good. Acrylic. It's almost like paint, but it's ink. See on the side here it says you can even spray this one. Spray, brush, pen, and is that a technical pen? But I think it would, yeah, see, non-clogging, water-resistant, pigmented. So, yeah, is this safe to put in fountain pens? It's got like a squeezy dropper. Oh, and a big, like, glass pipette on the end. Oh, I'm trying to squeeze it and get the drop to land in the bottle. Ah. Yeah, nice. It looks like good ink, and that really does look black. That hasn't separated and gone blue. Just, yeah, would I risk putting that in a pen? Here's some other cartridges, some from Sailor. They do fountain pens, don't they? Not sure why I've got those. 630 Japanese yen each. I must have bought a pen for these to go in. Maybe it was one of these brush pens. Like maybe this. No, I'm not sure if it... No, I think I'm sure that's not for that one. Well, we'll find out probably if we keep looking. What's in here? Something old, because it's in one of those old film pots. Oh, it's more nibs from the pen I used more like at school. These aren't the Japanese style ones. Bit used looking, some of them. Yeah, they're like sketching ones, are they? Does that say sketch? Can't quite read. Yeah, they're looking good now. The black ones don't look so clean, but the gold ones, they look brand new. Well, not new, but they've never been used anyway. Yeah, I need to test all these nibs, see which I prefer, these types or the Japanese types. What's over here? Nothing. Let's just put these back here then. What's this? A Staedtler pigment liner, 0.7. That's quite a fat end on there. Guess I might use that for something. What is this one? Oh, this is nice. Metal body, cool to the touch. It's got some pink ink on it there, but it's a nice pen. It's I think with these SP ones you can take that nib off, and you can also take the black end off and put a new cartridge in. 399 yen when I bought it. See, that's also metal there. That's a nice, I think I've got the original, well, the different version, the cheaper version, which is also called a Copic multiliner. Just hasn't got the SP, so plastic body, you can't change the nib or refill it, but it is cheaper. This is another blast from the past. I had this at school. It was like, I didn't really use it at school because it's an italic pen. No, not italic, like a calligraphy pen. So, well, that's stuck. I can't get that out. That's jammed in there. I'm not sure if that's is that a twisty ink drinker? Or is that a cartridge? I think it's a drinker. It's gotten stuck in there because the barrel there is quite narrow. Maybe when I screwed it in, it pushed it too far up the barrel. But yeah, it was a set, so you got the pen and a few different types of nibs. It was just fun to interchange the nibs without changing the cartridge, or you could change the cartridge or put different ink in it. Quite broad nib, this one. But I've got a few. Should be, is that one there? Yeah, see, that's much finer. It was nice to do, you know, fancy writing in a birthday card or something. This is this is the big daddy of Sharpies, the Sharpie Magnum. Look at that fat thing. It's chunky as anything. It's almost a bit too chunky to hold nice, you know, it's so fat. It looks cool though. Do like it. I did use this on a wall in a bedroom inside a house. We were doing like a kid's bedroom, so I drew a big fantasy princess castle on the wall using this, and I think I used just regular Sharpies too. What's in here? Nothing at all. Completely empty. Okay, is there anything else in here of any interest? Some more markers. Oh, nice eraser. I do use these ones. They're designed to roll up into little bits when you use them, and then you brush the bits away, then that carries away the pencil that you've rubbed off. This is a nice one. Feels really nice. It's metal body on it there. Really thick lead on this one. It's a mechanical pencil. And here's like a little window. I guess you turn this to change. Does it turn? Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can remind yourself what lead you've put inside. Or just have it blank if you leave it on silver. Nice bit that you hold here. Nice and slender. And it's got the really big lead in there. 2.0, I think it is. I think you can get the same pen with different sizes of lead. This is the 2.0. I think you can get a 0.5 and a 0.3. Nice action. And what's under here? Oh, nice metal construction inside. You don't get an eraser on the end, but that's where you put your lead. Yeah, that's a nice object. It's a nice one to use. Some more pens, a random biro from a hotel or something. Not sure what that one is. What's this one? This is another mechanical pencil. Wasn't a free one. I think I bought this one, but I was never happy with it because it was too thick. The bit that you hold, the rubber bit there, the black bit, was just too chunky. Anything else of interest in here? these, a couple of these like smudging sticks. It looks like it's just paper, tightly wound up paper. I guess you sharpen them because they'll get dirty when you smudge. You can use them to blend pastels and crayons. I think they're called stumps. That's the actual name for them, stumps. What else? Here is another nib from the calligraphy pen. Needs a good clean. Some leads. I think these are like graphite tips for the compass. I think that's what that was. A kneaded putty or rubber. This is a bit dry. Oh, it's just cracking. So instead of breaking up and you brush away the bits, this one it just more like picks the graphite or charcoal off the paper. So they become quite mucky because they pick up the dirt. They don't shed the dirt off. But they are useful for different kind of things. Alright, well, I think we're done. Well, there we have it. There's all my wonderful art supplies. New things and old things. But it was good to go through these drawers and just remind myself what I've actually got. Remind myself not to buy any more things and just basically open the drawers and pick out a pen or some ink and just start making something. I've got everything that I need. Lots of things to learn. I mean, brush pens I've not really used, technical pens I haven't really used, but it's all quite inspirational. You know, you pick up just one of these items and it's like, oh, what can I do with that? What can I create with this? So that's basically what I need to do. See, it's all good stuff. It's all what I've got close to me, ready to go, all at hand. So nothing's gonna hold me back. Just need to get some paper, pick up a pen or a pencil and make some art.